In Islam's teachings, goodness takes the lead. Choosing what's right fulfills every need. Invitation to virtue. Invitation to virtue.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Amma ba'd. Fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. Assalatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, welcome to a new series of episodes of Invitation to Virtue. Yes, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, Invitation to Virtue. And throughout these series, throughout these topics, throughout these episodes, we will be discussing and learning the importance of calling towards righteousness. Yes, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, calling towards righteousness, this is such a sunnah which has been forgotten in these days. And inshallah, we will strive our best to revive this and to embed in our hearts and our minds that what the importance of calling people, calling individuals towards righteousness is. Inshallah, throughout the episodes that will occur, that will air, inshallah, we will learn various fada'il of calling people towards righteousness. What are the benefits? What about those people that have the ability to call towards righteousness, but they refrain from doing so? And various other acts, stories, incidents regarding calling someone towards righteousness. Meaning that someone called someone towards righteousness, how their entire life changed. Throughout all of our topics, inshallah, that we will discuss in our episode, in our series called Invitation to Virtue, inshallah, we will discuss all of this. But before we dive into our current episode at hand, let's listen to a virtue of reciting durood upon the best of creation, alayhi salatu wassalam. Sayyiduna Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has narrated that the renowned and the revered Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated, there are some touring angels of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. When they pass by the gatherings of zikr, they say to each other, sit here or sit. When those making zikr, basically in that gathering, make dua, these angels say Ameen, meaning that what they ask for, may it be granted to them. So they say Ameen to their dua. When they recite Salat al-Nabi, Durood Sharif, the angels also recite Durood with them. And when they disperse, i.e. when they separate from that gathering, the angels say to each other that there is good news for these fortunate people as they are returning forgiven. Subhanallah. So therefore, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, we have heard that how excellent the gatherings of zikr are. Remember that the Sunnah inspired ijtima'at of Dawat Islami, the dars, the weekly gathering, the other aspects, other venues of Dawat Islami that take place are considered the gatherings of zikr. How fortunate are those Muslims by Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala's divine grace that these people attend these gatherings. These are gatherings of zikr in which angels attend as well. Therefore, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, make a habit to attend the gatherings of zikr and to recite durood upon the Prophet ﷺ. Because according to this narration, we have heard that the one who attends the gathering of zikr, the one then who recites durood, angels have said that they are returning, how? In the state that they are forgiven. So if we want to return home in the state that our sins are forgiven, we should attend the gatherings of zikr. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala is all powerful. He Azza wa Jalla is not dependent upon anyone. He, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He created this world, adorned it with different things, and made it a place for humans to live in, revealing His power. Then He continued to send His Rasul messengers and prophets alayhimu salatu wassalam in this world from time to time. For what reason, my dear viewers of Madani Channel? For the guidance of mankind. If He Azza wa Jalla wills, He Azza wa Jalla can make evil people get reformed even without Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam. But He, Allah Azza wa Jalla, has willed that His bondmen convey the call to righteousness, bear hardships in His path, and then earn or gain great rewards and ranks from His court. Therefore, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala continued to send Rasul, His messengers, and Anbiya, His prophets, alayhimu salatu wassalam, in the world for the fulfillment of the sacred task of which is called call to righteousness. So, invitation to virtue. And finally, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala sent His beloved Nabi, a prophet, Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallam, bringing Nabuwa to an end. He Azza wa Jalla then left this great and glorious task to the beloved Ummah of His beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, so that they may reform each other, fulfilling this significant obligation. So therefore, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, what we learned today was that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala in reality does not need anyone. But to fulfill this call to righteousness, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala chose prophets and messengers. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala sent these blessed personalities to the mankind for the guidance of mankind. So when Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala sent the Anbiya, the Rasul, for the guidance, what did they do? Call towards righteousness. They invited towards virtue, my dear viewers of Madani Channel. Then after the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, is mentioned that He Azza wa Jalla left this great and glorious task to whom? To the beloved Ummah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So to me and you, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, those that are watching at home, wherever we are watching, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has left this task for whom? For me and you. Therefore, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, we should not back away. That now it's our duty to step up. It's our duty to step forward and invite people towards good. No matter how little we might think it might be. Reciting Durood Sharif, reciting this, reciting that. But it might be that particular act might be the reason for His forgiveness. So therefore, we do not shy away. So therefore, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, what have we learned today? That every Muslim is a preacher. That every Muslim is a preacher. Whether he is a scholar, whether he is an imam of a masjid, a spiritual guide, a peer, a disciple, a murid, a trader, a consumer, a customer, an employer, an employee, an officer, a laborer, a ruler, or a common man, no matter whatever his professional and social status or status might be, one should continue to promote the Sunnah, conveying the invitation towards virtues, continuing the call towards righteousness to the people he lives with, works with, surrounds himself with. He should strive to perform this great task by making the best possible use of his abilities. मैं मुबल्लिग बनूं सुन्नतों का, खूब चर्चा करूं सुन्नतों का, या खुदा दर्स दूं सुन्नतों का, हो करम बहर खाके मदीना. Translation: May I preach and promote Sunnah, O Almighty. Bless me with the ability of giving dars of Sunnah for the sake of the earth of Madinah. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, the most merciful, has described the excellence of call towards righteousness, the invitation to virtue. A question that we can get asked most of the time, that okay, you're telling us to do the invitation to virtue, the call to righteousness, but what is the reward? What's the reward mentioned in the Quran or Sunnah? That okay, we'll do this, we'll call a person towards righteousness, but what is the reward, my dear viewers of Madani Channel? Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has mentioned or described the excellence of the call to virtue in different places of the Holy Quran. Here is ayah 104 of Surah Al Imran, and its translation will be given from Kanzul Iman. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has mentioned, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Translation from Kanzul Iman. And let there be a group amongst you who invites towards goodness and commands what is good and forbids what is evil. It is they who are the successful ones. Now, commentating on this verse, a renowned commentator of the Quran, a great thinker of the Ummah, Mufti Ahmad Yar Khan Naimi rahimahumullah has stated in the book Tafsir Naimi on volume 4, page 72. O Muslims, there should be one such movement amongst you, or you have to launch one such movement on a permanent basis that calls all the impious people towards righteousness. If you can remember, recall my dear viewers on Madani Channel, at the start of the program, I mentioned as well that this is a forgotten thing, a forgotten way, a forgotten act that is forgotten in these days that we don't do. And inshallah, throughout these episodes, we will attempt to revive this act. This is what Mufti Ahmad Yar Khan Naimi rahimahumullah ta'ala is mentioning. And they say that calling all impious people towards righteousness, the disbelievers towards Islamic faith, the transgressors towards piety, the heedless towards awareness, the ignorant towards the knowledge of Islam and Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, the reserved ones towards the pleasure of the divine devotion, and those in oblivion towards consciousness. Similarly, my dear viewers on Madani Channel, this movement that Mufti Sahib is speaking about is mentioned. This is to enforce correct beliefs, good manners, good deeds. By how? By preaching, by writing, physically, softly. And furthermore, is mentioned that this movement should prevent people from false beliefs, ill manners, bad deeds, evil intentions, evil thoughts by the tongue and by the heart, either by writing and by speaking, as per one's authority. And my dear viewers on Madani Channel, how can one do this? How can one preach? And this is, inshallah, we will learn this as well. Preach verbally if possible. If you know, if you are aware that by you saying people will listen to you, then one should preach verbally. Tell them that this is right, this is wrong. Praise people that what you are doing, mashallah, this is good. But I'll mention one method. And this method, my dear viewers on Madani Channel, this is called a sandwich method. Yes, a sandwich method. And what does a sandwich entail, my dear viewers on Madani Channel? Sandwich entails, in total, a bread on top, whatever the sandwich has, for example, tuna, fish, sweet corn, egg, for example, whatever, that's in the middle. All the thing that needs to eat, and that's in the middle. What's under it? Another bread. So bread on top, whatever that needs to be eaten, whatever's mixed inside it is in the middle, and whatever's under it, another bread. So bread, whatever needs to be eaten, under it, bread again. It's mentioned in this sandwich method, this is how to correct someone, my dear viewers on Madani Channel. Today, our call to righteousness, we might attempt it, but it might come across as rude. Or we might try to correct someone, or do islah of someone, reform someone. We might come across very rude, and they might take it to the heart. So this sandwich method, inshallah, they will understand and not take it to the heart. So, what is that bread and the thing in between and the bread underneath? It's mentioned that the bread on top, or you can start from the bottom, no problem. The bread on top is a praise. You praise the person first. You praise him first. For example, MashaAllah, you are doing really good. I like the way you speak. I like the way you do this certain act. You're seen in a masjid, MashaAllah, it's a very, very good habit. This is the top bread. Now when you praise him, he'll be like, oh, person's praising me. Then you listen to attentively. But if you start with saying, oh, what you're doing? You're doing this is wrong, this is bad, don't do this, do that. Straight away, if you tell someone like that, they'll take it to heart. Like, I don't know this person. I don't know who he is. Who is he to correct me? So start off with good praise. Start off with praising the person. And mashallah, you read the Tahajjud namaz, for example, you come to the masjid on a daily basis, you take your shoes off in accordance to the Sunnah method, you give salam, qabl al-kalam, before speaking. So praise. Now comes the main part. Now is the sandwich method. The first bread is done. First bread is praise. Middle is what the actual mistake the person is, and you're trying to reform him. Then mention to him that, for example, now look, mashallah, everything was good. But brother, this part here, this is where the middle bit starts. This brother, if you done this part like this, but not like this, you'll get more reward. This is better for you. Then he'll understand. Okay, that's where I made the mistake. And then what do? You don't just end there. Then you got that bottom bread left. And that bottom bread, this is praise again. Well, mashallah, you're doing very good. Keep it up. So in one scenario, I'll play out to you. MashaAllah, my brother, you're doing great tasks coming to the masjid to pray. You're coming very good. I see you on a daily basis, on a regular basis. You're doing a very good task. But my dear brother, you do know that, when in namaz, when you're reading, just make sure that in sajda, you do on 7 bones. But mashallah, I see you on a regular basis. It makes me very, very happy that you're coming to the masjid on a regular basis. When you do it like this, my dear viewers, when it call to righteousness, invitation towards virtue, the brother will appreciate you. Rather than condemning you and saying something bad to you, he'll appreciate you. Oh, okay, mashallah, someone praised me. So this is the way, my dear viewers, Madani Channel, that one should convey his message across, rather than this way. For example, the first way I mentioned, this is a good way. Now this is the bad way. And this puts a person off from coming again to the masjid or whatever good action he was going to commit. Because I'm aware of one person, and he mentioned this to me himself, that he was in a certain masjid, and what he did was he got hold of that masjid mic. He got hold of the masjid mic, and he started reading naats, poetry, in the praise of the Prophet ﷺ. It was a little kid at that time. And the masjid, it had loudspeaker. So the kid's naat was being played publicly on the loudspeaker outside. Now what happened was, one elderly person, Buzurg, came running inside. And he started swearing at him, started telling him off. And this, that, get lost, that. All these words were used. A child who's reading naat of the Prophet ﷺ. This was mentioned to him. And that person has told me himself that till date, he has not read naat in public because of that. But if that same person, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, if that same very individual, if he was to use a different approach, the sandwich approach I mentioned, what he should have said was, oh, mashallah, you read naats, very, very good. But beta, during these hours, people are resting, people are working, you should not use the mic. But mashallah, you have a very nice voice, or you read good, or you should come at Jummah's time, after Jummah Salah, we'll give you the mic. Salam. If he was used this method, then the child would be happy. Then the child would today might be reading naats publicly as well. But one way, my dear brother in Islam, that call to righteousness, remember, our words are sharper than a sword. And whatever we say, this might take an effect in a person's life. So when you invite towards righteousness, then invite with great care, that whatever you say might penetrate a person's heart. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alihi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam. My dear viewers on Madani Channel, everybody is a preacher. Everybody, yes, is a preacher. All the Muslims are preachers. It's mentioned that it is farz, obligatory, for all of them to command people to do righteous deeds and prevent them from evil ones. And this is wherever Sharia has declared it wajib for them. But keeping that in mind. And in the commentary, the Honorable Mufti alayhi rahmah has also quoted the following hadith from the book of Sahih al-Bukhari. The Rasul of Mercy, the intercessor of Ummah, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, has said, Ballighu anni walau ayah. Convey on my behalf, even if only one verse, one ayah. So therefore, whatever small neki ki da'wat, call to righteousness that we can do, we should attempt to do so. And do not think that this is small, this is big. Whatever possible, you should reply to azan, you should recite Durood Sharif. All of this a person should do. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alihi wa alihi wa sallam. Carrying on, my dear viewers on Madani Channel, there are many virtues of doing call to righteousness. It's mentioned that a renowned commentator, Mufti Ahmad Yar Khan Naimi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, further on states that Islamic preaching is an extremely important worship. All other acts of worship, what do they normally do? They usually benefit the worshipper, the one who is worshipping. But Islamic preaching, invitation to virtue, the call to righteousness, not only benefits the preacher himself, but all the other individuals as well. And the acts that benefit others, besides its doer, is preferable to the one that benefits only its doer. Meaning, if an act only benefits you and no one else, and then there's an act that benefits you and other people as well, that is more preferable that you do that act compared to the other one. And it is stated in a narration that someone asked the beloved and the blessed Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, who is the best bondman? Who is the best person, best bondman? He sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam replied, the one who fears Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. The one who fears Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. My reviews on Madani Channel. This narration is not finished yet. But what was the question again? Who is the best bondman? A common question that the scholars get asked. That who is the best person? Who is the best bondman? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered this question. That is the one who fears Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, behaves well towards his relatives. And the next one, conveys good things to people and prevents them from evils. So the one who conveys good towards the people and prevents them from evil. And Sayyidina Hasan Basri rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi stated that the one commanding the people to do good deeds and preventing them from evil ones is the Caliph of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, as well as that of his Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and of that of his book, i.e. the Holy Quran. It is stated in a hadith that if Muslims give up Islamic preaching, meaning they leave call to righteousness, they leave invitation to virtue, they leave that. That is mentioned that if Muslims give up Islamic preaching, then cruel kings will rule them and their prayers will not be answered. This might be one of the reasons, my dear viewers on Madani Channel, that our du'as, our prayers are not answered. That it may be because that our life has been spent in a way that Islamic preaching does not exist in our life. We might be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 maybe. Allah grant you all long lives. But if preaching, Islamic preaching, calling towards righteousness has gone, invitation to virtue has gone, then maybe according to this nation that is mentioned that our prayers are not accepted is maybe because of this reason. So make a firm and a stern belief, stern intention that inshallah we will reignite that flame of invitation to virtue, of inviting people towards good, inshallah. Few narrations I like to mention, and inshallah we will come towards our end of our episode. Leader of the believers, the first Khalifa, Sayyiduna Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has said, O people, command others to do good deeds and prevent them from evils. You will be leading a peaceful life. Leader of the believers, Sayyidina Ali al-Murtaza radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has stated, the heart does not consider good as good and evil as evil will be turned upside down, as the things inside a bag when turned upside down fall and scatter. So my dear viewers on Madani Channel, we have learned the importance of the call to virtue, the invitation to virtue, and make an intention, my dear viewers on Madani Channel, that inshallah that whatever minimum act we can do, be that at work, be that at college, school, whatever the youngsters that are watching, the adults that are watching, the buzurg that are watching, whatever field that we work in, whoever we sit with, even to talk, that talk wherever you wish, any permissible talk, but alongside that, you should attend the weekly Ijtima of Dawat Islami. Just like that, an invitation towards righteousness. You should recite Durood, you should read Jummah namaz. After Jummah, you should read Durood Sharif, read Durood Sharif on this day, read Durood Sharif on that day. Attend Madani Qafila, travel in Madani Qafila, fill in the Neek A'mal. Little wordings. This is Neeki ki Da'wah, this is call towards righteousness, this is invitation to virtue, my dear viewers on Madani Channel. So we do dua in the court of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala allows me and you to wholeheartedly invite people towards virtue. Ameen. Bijahi Nabiyil Ameen. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam.
In Islam's teachings, goodness takes the lead. Choosing what's right fulfills every need. Invitation to virtue. Invitation to virtue.